All right, shalom, shalom. It's Brother Yatazadak, hero Israel. I'd like to start off by giving all honor and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Kodash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone. Today we're going to go into Genesis chapter 22, going to the Hebrews, so Lord willing you're edified, giving all honor and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Kodash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone. Let's get right into it. It's Genesis chapter 22, verse 1, and it reads, And it came to pass afterwards, after the words these, and God proved unto Abraham, and he said unto him, Abraham, and he said, Here I am. Wa Yahaya Achar Ha Dabarium Ha Alha Wa Ha Alahayim Nasa Atha Abraham Wa Ya Amar Al Yahweh Abraham Wa Ya Amar Hanaya. Genesis 22 and 2. You say, Take now unto your son, to your only one, which thou lovest, even unto Isaac, and go thou to the land of Moriah, and offer him up there for a burnt offering upon one of the mountains which I will say unto thee. Vaya Amar Kwach Na'a Atha Banka Atha Yachayadka Ashar Achabath Atha Yatazachak Walaka Laka Al Rataza Ha Mariah Waha Ilawa Shum La Ila Al Achar Haharim Ashar Amar Al Yaka. Right, so that word in verse 1, Nasa, means to try or to venture, right? It's not like the word Bachan, which means to prove, right? Genesis 22 and 3, and he rose up Abraham in the morning, and he saddled unto his ass, and he took unto two of his young men with him, and to Isaac his son, and he cleaved asunder wood for a burnt offering, and they rose up, and they went unto the place which said unto him God. Vayashakam Abraham Babakwar Wayachabash Atha Chamarwa Wayakwach Atha Shanya Nayar Yawa Athawa Wa Atha Yatazachak Banwa Wayabakwai Itazaya Ila Wayakwam Wayalaka Al Hamakwam Ashar Amar Lawa Ha'alahayim. Right, so that word chabash means to wrap around, to bind. Right? Don't confuse it with chashaba, meaning to reckon or in imagination. Right? A thought, a device. Genesis 22 and 4. In the day the third, and it was in the day the third, and he lifted up Abraham unto his eyes, and he saw unto the place afar off. Right? So here it doesn't say, and it came to pass on the third day, right? Because it's already, right? It's a shorten, right? By the scribes, right? So that's not necessary to put that there, right? So it says, Bayawam ha shalayashaya Waya sha'a Abraham atha ayan yawa Waya ra'a atha hamakwam Marachak. Genesis 22:5. And he said Abraham unto the young men, dwell you here with the ass, and I and the young man will go even until thus, and will worship, and will return unto you. Waya Amar Abraham al Nayar Yawa Shabwa Lakam Pa Im Ha Chamor Wa Anya Waha Nayar Nalaka Ad Kach Wana Shatacha Wana Shawaba Al Yakam. Genesis 22:6. And he took Abraham unto the wood for the burnt offering, and he placed it beside Isaac. And he placed it upon Isaac his son, and he took in his hand unto the fire and unto a knife, and they went both of them together. Wayakwach Abraham atha itazayah ha'ila wayasham al yatazachak banwa wayakwach bayadwa atha ha'ash wa atha ha ma'akalath wayalakwa shanyaham yachadwa. Genesis 22:7. And he said Isaac unto Abraham his father, and he said, Father. And he said, Here am I, my son. And he said, Behold the fire and the wood, and where is the cattle for the burnt offering? Waya Amar Yatazachak al Abraham Abayawa Waya Amar Abaya Waya Amar Hanaya Banya Waya Amar Hana Ha'ash Waha Atazayam Wa Aya Hasha La Ilah. Genesis 22:8. And he said Abraham, God will see unto the cattle for the burnt offering, my son. And they went both of them together. Waya Amar Abraham Alahayim Ya Ra'ah Lawa Hasha La Ilah Banya Wayalakwa Shanyaham Yachadwa. Genesis 22:9. And they entered unto the place which had said unto him God, and he built there Abraham unto the altar, and he set in order unto the wood, and he binded unto Isaac his son, and he bound unto Isaac his son, and he placed him unto the altar, upon the altar, from upon the wood. Wayaba'awa al hamakwam ashar amar lawa ha'alahayim wayaban sham Abraham atha hamazabach waya Iraq atha ha'atazayam waya iquad atha yatazachak banwa wayasham athawa al hamazabach ma'al la atazayam. So let's look at that word iquad, meaning to bind, right? What's that, verse 9? Genesis 22:9. Strong's H6123, which is like quad, meaning to bind, right? To bind, to tie. Basically, it just means to tie, right? To bind, to tie. Genesis 22:10. He sent out Abraham unto his hand, and he took unto the knife to slaughter unto his son. Vayashalach Abraham ata yadwa vayakwach ata ha ma'akalath la shachat ata bamwa. Genesis 22:11. And he called unto him an angel of the Lord from the heavens. And he said unto Abraham, Abraham. And he said, Here I am. Vayakwa al Yahweh mala'aka Yahweh man hashamayim Vaya Amar Abraham Abraham. Right, so that's what the angel said. He said, Abraham, Abraham. And he said, Vaya Amar Hanaya. Genesis 22:12. And he said, Do not send out your hand unto the young lad, and do not do unto him anything, because now I know, because thou fearest God, and has not withheld unto your son, to your only one, from me. Right, so that when you see that where it says Yachayad Ka, right, so Yachad can mean together, but it's just a shortened way of saying Achad, right, meaning, right, to be as one, or as in to be together, or you're only one, right, in this case, right. Vayamar al tashalach yadka al hanayar wa al ta'aisha lawa ma wama kaya aitha yadayathia kaya yara'a alahayim atha wala'a chashakath ata banka ata yachayad ka ma manaya. Slakia. Because that word mawama means anything, right? Basically, it's a combination of ma and ma, meaning what and what. Ma wa ma, right? Or what and how, right? Which basically just means anything. So he just said, do not do anything unto the lad, right? Chashak means darkness, but it also means to withhold, right? Genesis 22:13. And he lifted up Abraham into his eyes, and he saw, and behold, a ram behind, caught in a thicket, and its horns. And he went Abraham, and he took unto the ram, and he offered it up for a burnt offering, instead of his son. Vayasha'a Abraham atha ayan Yahweh Vayara'a wahana ayal achor na achaz basabka ba koranya Yahweh Vayalaka Abraham Vayakwach atha ha'ayel Vayailawa la ilah tachath banwa. right? So that word subka or shabka just means an entanglement or a thicket, right? For example, right, let's get some, I have it actually written down, that word here. Shabka. Salakia. Which also means a network, a lattice work. Right? For example, them little nets you put when you around a garden, right? Then you have another similar word, which is so that isn't this word because this is subka. This means an entanglement, but shabka means a lattice work, a network. You have shabbatazah, which means a checkered work, but it means when sewing cloth, right? So it's not hollowed out like a lattice work, right? For example, a checkered shirt with a pattern on it, shabbatazah, right? But shabka is actually a network, right? Or a net. Let's get that subka, which is the actual word for entanglement. Salakia. Subka, to entangle, a bush, figuratively a thicket, right? The Quran means horn, which symbolizes strength. Genesis 22:14, and he called Abraham from the place, there the place that is the Lord seeth, which he said, which is said unto this day, in the mount of the Lord he seeth. It says, Wayaqwara Abraham Sham Hamakwam Hahuwa Yahweh Yara'ah Ashar Ya Amar Hayawam Bahar Yahweh Yara'ah. Right? Genesis 22:15. And he called the angel of the Lord unto Abraham the second time from the heavens. Wayaqwara Mala'aka Yahweh al Abraham Shanyath Man Hashamayim. And he said, upon myself I have sworn, saith the Lord, because for so which thou hast did unto the matter this, and is not withheld unto your son, to your only one. Why Amar Baya Nasha Bayathia Naam Yahweh Kaya Ya'an Ashar Ashiath Atha Hadabar Hazah Wala'ah Chashakath Atha Banka Atha Yachad Yakah. Genesis 22:17. Because surely I will bless thee, and surely I will multiply unto your seed like the stars of heaven, and like the sands which is upon the sides of the sea, and they will possess your seed unto the gate of their enemies. Kaya Barak Abaraka Waha Rabah Arabah Athazarayaka Ka Kawakabia Hashemayim, Waka Hawal, Ashar al Shapath, Hayam, Wayarash Zaraika, Atha Shayar Ayabyawa. Genesis 22 and 18. Will be blessed in your seed all the nations of the earth, to the end which thou hast heard of my voice. Waha Thabarakwa Ba Zaraika Kal Gawayaya Ha Rataza Iquab Ashar Shamayath Pakwalia. That happens when right, the Lord brings the great destruction, right? Many will burn thermonuclear fire, right? Even before Jacob's trouble, right? The Lord is going to, right, destroy many, and then as the Israelites get their inheritance, they're going to multiply. They're going to essentially breed and put into captivity the remainder of the heathen that survived Armageddon, World War III, right, in the kingdom of heaven, right? They're going to be enslaved for 1,000 years, essentially forever, but they're going to be punished for 1,000 years, right? And then they'll be set back in their own land, and Israel will possess their enemies forever, like it says in the law, right? Genesis 22 and 19. Dwelt Abraham, or Salak, and he returned Abraham to his young men, and they rose and they went together to Beersheba, and dwelt Abraham in Beersheba, which is Beersheba. Wayashab Abraham al Nayar Yawa, Wayakwamwa, Wayalakwa, Yachadwa, al Ba'ar Shabai, Wayashab Abraham, Ba Ba'ar Shabai. And it came to pass afterwards, the words these, Salakia. And it was revealed unto Abraham to say, Behold, she has brought forth Milcah, even she, sons unto Nahor your brother. Wayahaya Acharya, Hadabarium, Ha'alha, Wayagad Abraham, La Amar Hana, Yalada, Malka, Gam Hawa, Bunyam, La Nahor, Achika. Genesis 22 and 21, to Uz his firstborn, and to Buz his brethren, and to Kemuel, the father of Aram, Atha Iwataza Bakarwa, Wa Atha Bawaz Akyawa, Wa Atha Kwamwa'ala, Abaya Abaram, or Aram, Salakia. Genesis 22 and 22, and to Chesed, and to Hazo, and to Pildash, and to Jidalaph, and to Bethuel. Wa'atha Kashad, Wa'atha Chazwa, Wa'atha Paladash, Wa'atha Yadalap, Wa'atha Batwa'ala. Genesis 22 and 23, and Bethuel brought forth unto Rebekah. The 8 of these brought forth Milcah unto Nahor, the brethren of Abraham. Wa Batwa'ala, Yalad Atha Rebekah, Shamna Alha, Yalada, Malka, Lanachor, Achia, Abraham. So that word Rebecca essentially just means calf, right? Because the purpose of calves were, right, it's even done today, right, for the freshest meat, right, most tender meat, right. What certain farmers still do today is that they put that young cow or whatever the case may be, young bull in a stall. They feed it very well, and they slaughter it young, right, in order to get the tenderest meat, right? So it's like fresh meat, like it says, like they say in the world, right? But it just means calf. Now that's not an actual Hebrew word, Rebecca. When I say an actual Hebrew word, I mean like that it has an actual meaning to it. It doesn't literally mean calf, right? Because you have, let's see what else we can compare it to. Salakia. Rabak or Rabka, which means to stir, right? Or another one, you have Salakia. You have, let's see, Ramka, which means a female horse, right? Which is not a stallion. A stallion is a male horse, right? You got, right, certain rappers that call themselves a stallion, but that's suspect, right? You also have Rathak, meaning a chain, right, or an ornament. There was another one, but I'm trying to find out. Damn. Trying to see where it is. Oh, Rapak, Rapakwa, meaning to recline, right? Which is, you can compare that to that, Rapak, Rabak, Rabakwa, because that's what you do with a cow, right? You can look that up on your own, right? So that's where that name comes from. And then you have Rachel, which means a ewe lamb. Basically, these are just words to say that they were, right, fresh. Like our pasta heart says, tenderonis. Oh man. So you have Rachel, which means a ewe, which is a female sheep. Rebecca, which means a calf. Of cows, or certain large animals give birth to a calf. But there's another part to that definition, which is Salakia. It says to give birth to a calf to produce offspring, right? Because there were certain animals that they were just kept to create young animals, right? And for them to be slaughtered young for the tenderness of their meat, right? Which is symbolic for Israel because we're the youngest nation out there. We're the last nation to be established, right? Because Esau, Edom, they received their inheritance. They were Mount Seir while we were in Egypt, right? In captivity for 400 years. Says when his cows calve each year, he keeps 1 or 2 cows for his family. Baby cow is called a calf. You have the term cows in the stall. Salakia. That's in the prophets. As needed, explain that the phrase cows of the stall refers to cows that are safe, well fed, and cared for. The Lord promises that he will similarly protect and care for those who fear his name. The phrase healing in his wings refers to healing and protective power of the Lord's atonement. So it says, basically it's talking about the remnant being preserved, right? Because the scripture says what? That Revelation chapter 12, that they would go into the wilderness. The women fled into the wilderness, into her place. The wilderness is the 4 corners of the earth, but into her place is ultimately the remnant being gathered into America, Babylon the Great, right? So the Lord preserved, right, the remnant in order for them to fulfill their purpose and their respective lots. Genesis 22 and 24. And his concubine, or Salakia, and a concubine, and whose name was Reumah, and brought forth even she unto Tabah, unto Gaham, to Tahash, and to Ma'akah, wa Paya Lagashwa, Washama, Ra'ama, wa Thalad, Gam Hawa, Atha Tabach, wa Atha Gaham, wa Atha Tachash, wa Atha Mayakah. Because that word palag means to split, right? Palagayash or payalagash means concubine, or to divide, right? Because concubines were divided, right? When they were taken captive, or whatever the case may be, or bought, right? So this Genesis chapter 22, going into the Hebrew. It's Brother Yatazadak, hero Israel. And as always, giving honor and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Kakwadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles, great millstone. Lord willing, you edified. Kwam Yasha Allah, Abad Babal, and Shalom.